Hey everybody, it's Andrew. Welcome back with another My PTA video. So this video, I'm going to kind of go over how our brain interprets signals and then sends that back down. So if you haven't watched my previous video about how the spinal column interacts with sensories or sensations felt and then, interprets that and sends it to the brain, go ahead and watch that video. I'll link it down in the description below, but it's kind of important that you know how the sensations are interpreted through the spine first, because the spine is actually going to send the information to the brain. So go watch that if you haven't already. But continuing on, so as you can see here on this side of the screen, I've kind of got a little rudimentary brain drawn to the best of my abilities. So I've got all the different regions of the brain. You've got the frontal, the parietal, the temporal, the occipital. You can see the cerebellum back here. This is the brain stem. Then I have the sulcus. It's basically dividing the frontal and parietal cortex regions of the brain. So not seen here on this brain, but right here in the middle is our thalamus. So I kind of put this little bubble here that the thalamus is the relay center. So with that kind of out of the way, basically, so as kind of mentioned in my other video, the spine gets sensations and then it sends it up from the interneuron, sorry. It's going to come up this afferent pathway here, so on the brainstem, and it's going to go through the pons and then up to the thalamus, which once again, as you can see, is the relay center. So after it relays that message, basically it receives that message, it's going to come up through the somatosensory cortex here, which is part of the parietal, and then it's going to send it to what regions of the brain it wants to send it to gather that information. And then with that information now, it's going to come down through this primary motor cortex, which is part of the frontal lobe. So I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this is the sulcus. It's basically what divides those two cortexes, the primary motor and the somatosensory. So somatosensory receives the information. It's the sensory, and then it gets disseminated to other regions of the brain, and then it goes down to the primary motor, not down to, it goes to the primary motor cortex, motor being function, and that comes down this pathway here, and then it comes down this efferent pathway. And so then it goes back to the spinal column, and then that information gets sent out to our motor units. So just a quick video on kind of how the brain interprets that information that's sent from the spinal cord. So hope you guys enjoyed it.